None of our panelists got to where they are today by staying within the mold, so I do think this is a perfect topic of exploration. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to jump right in because this is really interesting. And how important is thinking creatively and working creatively as we are in and working our way through the COVID era? Kyle, how about we go to you? I know, I bet you're doing a lot of reading. I suspect, because I know that's your thing. But how important is kind of thinking outside the box, thinking creatively right now?
Our situation here is that we're very fortunate. We can learn from others and see how creative they have been and what they're doing to get their staff and players back into the best mindset possible before they go back into competition. And the Raptors are most similar to us in that, they're going to jump right back in right near their playoffs or with a little bit of regular season to go. So for us, being able to learn from them is pivotal. And we're also trying to learn from as many organizations as we can with regards to how they're handling this and then add our own twist to it as well to try to put our staff and our organization in the best spot to capitalize when we come back. But we know all the other 23 teams in the NHL are returning are going to be doing that as well. So it's imperative for us to try to give ourselves an advantage at this point.
Where do ideas come from? How are they cultivated?
In hockey in particular, I think there's a huge push that we find anyway towards, the answer to a lot of the new things you try to do is, well, this way has always worked in the past, or this is the way we've always done things. And I think one of the things we try to challenge our staff, and I have to continue to challenge myself to do, is to try to find new edges and to try to find new advantages in a very competitive and salary cap sport. I think you always have to be pushing the mindset of the group to be trying to grow and get uncomfortable. And that's one of the major things, especially since Sheldon's come on. He and I have worked together for a long time, and there's a real alignment there on this topic of creativity and trying to advance and grow and improve one another, and thus improve the program and push all of the staff, not just the athletes, but every member of our staff to be continuing to improve their skill set, pushing them to take different courses or take different professional development and learning opportunities. And in this stretch here, honestly, and I'm speaking only the pandemic portion of this stretch where we've all learned new things. One of the major benefits is being able to connect with people in different businesses and different sports and share with one another and try to find new ways and learn new things that we can do to benefit our hockey program here. So that's sort of the way that we cultivate. We're very fortunate in Toronto that we've got good relationships with all the teams here, and they all bring various different elements to the table as well, which is a huge benefit for all of us.
You have always studied other sports, even perhaps at a time when it wasn't regarded as something that hockey people did. Would that be correct?
I'm sure lots of people. I'm sure lots of people have and continue to do so. I just find that we learn, especially from soccer and from basketball. I think it's just because of the way the field of play is constructed in those sports. We've learned a lot from them in terms of tactics and various different things that we hope we can apply and player deployment and so on and so forth. And then on the baseball side, on the player development side in baseball, I think that they're so far advanced in terms of what we do in terms of using technology and the number of player development staff and their objective ability to evaluate and see where players are developing and how they're developing. So we've learned a ton from everybody on this call and from their sports in particular. So we just hope to continue. They'll allow us to keep stealing their ideas and adding them to our own.
There is an ongoing dialogue, thankfully, on the topic of racial injustice, and this affects all of us. But all of you as leaders have to also think about this differently. And I'm wondering what your feelings are, what your current mindset is in terms of moving forward and enacting racial justice. Kyle?
Yeah, I think for us, Tara, I mean, we've taken a lot of pride over the last number of years and in the things that we've done as an organization. And, we've received a fair amount of credit for doing so. And I think what the last number of weeks has taught us is that it's not enough, and that this is not a black issue. This is a white issue, and it's on us as an organization and each one of us as people, being that in hockey, that we have to call it what it is. And I think we have to be very transparent. It's a predominantly white sport. And as white people, we've been able to grow up, and I've been able to grow up, and we have a privilege that's inherent with being white, that we need to recognize, and that we need to become much more empathetic and realize what others have gone through in their lives. And more importantly than that, it's up to us to lead anti-racism efforts. And rather than just not be racist ourselves and to be diverse in our hiring, we also need to lead the charge as white people to put an end to all of the injustice and inequality that has plagued our society in North America for hundreds of years. And until we do that from our position, it's never going to get better. And so I think what this has taught us very clearly is that we need to be better. We need to lead. We need to raise our voices up rather than just put out statements at times like this when something happens that creates protest and rioting in some places. We need to carry our voice through to when the protests end, and rather than wait for the next incident and then put out another statement again, we have to be doing more in our community and within our program to educate, because we view it as on us to be leaders in this area and to be much better moving forward.